The Giver. Why? Why? It has such potential to be something not awful, and okay, it wasn't awful, but still, why? If you're not familiar with The Giver, it's basically one of the first young adult novels that started all this crap that we have today. And it's such a shame that it's coming out in 2014 because it should have come out sooner. This is not a complicated movie to make. It's not a big deal. It's not full of huge sets and effects and things like that. Which, of course, they have spaceships in this movie now. If you're not familiar with the story, it's basically about this young boy, Jonas, who lives in a society where everyone has a job and it's the future. And he is given the job of receiver of memories. Basically, he gets to receive all of humanity's collective memories, which have been erased from their population now, so that we don't have starvation and wars and things like that, so people can be emotionless, basically. So his job is to basically go to The Giver, who is played by Jeff Bridges, who just looked like an alcoholic, I don't know, and he basically needs to get all the memories, which is not an easy thing to do because they are very wonderful memories like love and family and happiness, but they're also awful, awful memories about cruelty and what people are capable of. And the book, I remember I read it because someone on YouTube recommended it, a reviewer that I like, and he said that he was really looking forward to a genuine adaptation to it. So I read the book and I really, really enjoyed it. It was well written, it was well played out, I guess, and I was excited for a real adaptation as well. And this movie had such potential because the news kept coming out and about the cast and about the directors and writers and everything, and it looked really promising. And then it wasn't, because they showed the first trailer and that looked ridiculous. It looked absolutely ridiculous. They showed a spaceship. It's not a spaceship in the movie, but what? That's not what this movie is about at all. It's about a young boy with the Giver in a room, and it's basically about them sharing memories. It shouldn't have big special effects and spacecraft and incredible technology, because it's not about that. They live in, yes, a world where technology is really advanced, but at the same time that's not a big deal to them, and they sort of... It looked like Divergent. And it's such a shame because I guess, yeah, this book really started it all. And now that we have Hunger Games and Divergent and the Maze Runner is coming out, they all look the same nowadays. Everything's just the same. They kind of blend together. I can barely tell them apart. So it's a shame that it came out now, because if it had come out 10 years later, this would have been great. But the movie itself, it was a faithful adaptation as far as the story goes, as far as I remember. And I just want to say that the ending was good. I'm glad that they didn't completely butcher anything as far as the story goes, so I was happy. It's not a long book. There's not much to it, so I think they really fit everything to an hour and a half. I think it was an hour and 40 minutes. And they fit everything well. It wasn't the most exciting movie to watch. It was way better than Ender's Game, because I fell asleep in that, but this one, it still had some slow moments where I just wanted it to go faster and just be over already. And the way it began, I had no idea. I actually did know, looking back, I did know that it would be in black and white at first. I just had forgotten it, so when it started in black and white, I was just like, why? Why would you do that? You're not doing it to be clever. You're not doing it because you want to do it in black and white. You're doing it because you just want to show off or something. You just want to stand out from all the other movies. But then, 15 minutes into the movie, they realize, oh, no one's going to watch this if it's black and white. Let's put a little color in it. And then the movie slowly gets color, which I actually liked the whole process, because it became slowly a colorful movie. First they added the red, just like in the book, and they added the colors little by little. And there was a huge contrast between the black and white scenes and then the memories, which were super colorful. So I like that, but I don't like the principle of it. I do like how it turned out, but I don't like why they did it and the reasons for it, because they just wanted to be clever and say, look how faithful we are to the book, because in the book people don't actually perceive colors. Colors do exist, but no one actually cares. Why didn't Jonas have blue eyes in the movie? I want to know that. What the hell? It's not... I know it sounds like nitpicking because, it's just an eye color. But no, it actually makes sense that he has blue eyes because everyone is the same. And in fact, what happened in this world is called the sameness. They introduced sameness, where everything is symmetrical and the same, and so there won't be jealousy and blah blah blah. It's divergent again. But he was born with blue eyes, and everyone else has brown eyes, and so people are sort of they don't really say it to his face, but they think something's wrong with him. And it turns out that he has blue eyes because he is... I don't remember how they explained it in the book, actually. I think that his blue eyes are sort of like an open window to his soul or whatever, to his mind. And he can receive memories easily. That's why he has blue eyes. And I thought it was a nice thing in the book. It was the whole thing, and they had a whole discussion about it. Taylor Swift is in this movie, and I actually don't mind her. She didn't have any lines. She just sort of stood there and played the piano, and she was fine. It was a small role. I was actually really concerned when they cast her, because obviously they went for someone the kids relate to, and I thought, they're gonna make her character way bigger than it needs to be, because in the book it was just a small character, and I'm glad that they didn't do it. They were absolutely faithful to the story. I have to give them that. And yeah, it wasn't completely insufferable. Is that really a good thing to say about a movie? It wasn't completely insufferable. Yeah, put that on your DVD. I sat through it. That's a positive review, right? I sat through it. Jonas was not that good. Who is the guy? Brenton Thwaites? I don't know. He was in The Signal, and he was actually good in that, so I was excited to see him in The Giver, and And Jeff Bridges, I didn't like him either. Meryl Streep was good just because she's Meryl Streep. I mean, come on. And I hated, what's her face? Katie Holmes. I hated her. I wanted to punch her in the face. She was awful in this movie. I don't know if it was the character, and I just don't remember it, the mom being awful in the book. I just wanted to punch her in the face. I didn't like her at all. And the dad is, what's his face from True Blood? Skarsgård, that guy. He was fine. He was just there. He was like a piece of furniture or something. I have nothing else to say about this movie. The acting wasn't that good. The sets were bigger than they needed to be. Obviously. The room that the whole process takes place in is actually just a small office, sort of, filled with books. This was like a giant room with a giant window looking at a lonely tree in the fog. It was too much. And again, a CG looked ridiculous, by the way. There was one scene where Jonas... This is not a spoiler. There's a baby, Gabriel, and they're gonna release him. So Jonas grabs him and he puts the baby in a motorcycle and he rides off. And they show, and that was ridiculous. I mean, how much money did this shot cost? They show the baby in the motorcycle, and then they show, because the baby's covered with glass, they show like the trees and the reflection because it's at night and how fast they're moving, and it looks ridiculous. It looks so bad. I mean, glass, CG glass looks awful no matter what. It's like CG fire. For some reason we have not mastered that technology yet, and it looked awful. And I actually looked up the budget of this movie, and it's 25 million. Why was this movie 25 million? It shouldn't. I mean, was this just Jeff Bridges and Meryl Streep's paychecks? I mean, and the giant spaceship, I guess, that was $1 million or $2 million. This movie shouldn't have a budget like this, and I know it sounds like nitpicking, I know it sounds like I'm just looking for excuses to hate it, but that's not it at all. If you read the book, you have to realize the atmosphere and how small it is and how contained. It's a very simple story, it's very small, and it's just about the memories. And a movie that captures that atmosphere should not have a budget of 25 million. It's that simple. So even that's disappointing. Again, I sat through it. It's not completely awful. And that's all I have to say. Yeah, put that on your Blu-ray box set, The Giver. It's not completely awful. See it in theaters, never. See it at home where you can fast forward. Watch with your family so you can laugh at them.